Did you know that every chemical reaction involved in life, in particular when it comes to using calories and nutrition from foods, is collectively called metabolism? Most people do not understand that concept. This becomes important when we're going to explore the idea of enzymes and how they are going to help you benefit more with your new SolFit GP formula. So, metabolism has a purpose in the body, and that is taking that food, helping it be converted into energy, and then making building blocks with it. And in those building blocks, we're either going to build up the body or we're going to break down parts of the body. Regardless, enzymes help there to be efficiency in this process. And anytime we have efficiency, then we have more ease in getting our end goal accomplished. Now, when that comes to metabolism, let's look at enzymes and let's give you two different examples to help understanding what it looks like to light the fire for your metabolism. Because your enzymes act as a catalyst. And remember, a catalyst is specifically there to help lower the energy requirements it takes to do something. Our examples here are a primitive way of starting a fire, and that would be to take a piece of wood, spinning it between your hands into the little hole that's drilled in the wood until you get enough friction with the tinder that creates some embers, you get some smoke, and then there's a whole process of pouring the embers into the kindling and blowing on it, adding your other tinder to it until you get a fire going. Or striking a match, putting it into that small, light, very flammable tinder and getting the fire going. Which one of these is easier? Well, the match is easier. Do they both work? Yes, they do. But with the match, it is a catalyst that helps make it simpler so you don't have to put as much energy into the process to get the fire burning. So keep that in mind when we're talking about enzymes. We are simplifying the process. And there's evidence that there is an issue here and a need in human race here. And we can understand that better by realizing that our enzymes decrease in strength as we age. So when we're younger, the age 16, 17, 18, our enzymes are strong enough that it can actually strip the paint off of a car. As we get older, we have a harder time breaking down our food. One of the reasons being that they're simply not as strong in the enzyme strength that we used to have. Other ways that we are aware that there's issues when it comes to digestion is gut health. That is a talking point that is all over the place. You can go at the checkout of the grocery store, you're going to see magazines with that terminology on it. It's all over social media. You've probably heard it. You might have even used it, but gut health is a big talking point. How many people in your inner circle or family do you know if this had their gallbladder removed? It was nothing for me to have a person a month come in that the doctors either had just removed their gallbladder as the solution to their issue, or a family member had just had it done, or this is something that was being recommended. Again, compromised digestion issues when it comes to the gallbladder. Our incidence of diabetes, off the charts, tying back to digestion and our enzymes, our antacid sales, and then proton pump inhibitors. All of these, just by looking at this evidence of what is in our everyday life, is showing us that there are challenges out there. People are not able to break down their food. We're not necessarily going to get into the reasons why. The fact is, this is what's happening. Now, there's lots of benefits when it comes to enzymes. We know that with our Veritizymes is one of the things that we love to use for our meals. And it is helpful whenever you've got the gallbladder's been removed or it's compromised or you've got challenges with the pancreas or the liver. And rather than just abating the issue and stopping the the discomfort by whether you're using an antacid or a proton pump inhibitor, which does not solve the issue. It just puts a Band-Aid over the issue. By using enzymes with your meals, it can help to break down the foods. Now, keep in mind that we have ingredients in our Solle GP that activate our enzymes. And those are different minerals that are in some of these plants that are in there. We've got a lot of potassium in there. Potassium's phenomenal at helping to activate our enzymes in the enzymatic process, but minerals in general, and there's multiple minerals in these formulas. Your apple cider vinegar brings it to the table, your red beetroot, and then you've got the different nutrients, high nutrients and some minerals in your yerba mate. And again, that's just to name a few. Now, of course, adding in vertizymes is going to be extremely beneficial as well. Also, you've got lots of minerals in your vital. So these are all things that support in burning that, getting that fire up, stoked and burning. Other benefits with minerals or enzymes with your meals is it's going to help break down your food. Again, getting more utilization, more absorption. If we can use our food, then we have more fire to stoke our metabolism. And remember, the enzymes, that catalytic action is going to lessen the requirement of our energy to do this because it's helping with the process. Some of the other things you notice is you're going to have a better bowel transit time. You're going to have less indigestion issues. If you have more digested food, then you will have faster results with your health improvement, less bloating, mental, emotional health. And then, of course, enhanced memory, mental focus, and clearer skin. Now, all of these become important in everyday life, and you think about the impact that this can have on your health. But let's think about these things. How does it impact your metabolism and helping your weight to balance out? Well, if you can use your food that you've eaten more effectively, then you've got more energy to drive that exercise, more energy to have that fire that's burning off the fat, more energy to be productive. Many of us have nicknamed the Solle GP as in getting productive because we're getting stuff done. Well, the enzymes are helping this as well. And again, like I said, we've got some of the plants in the GP that help support those enzymes working more effectively and efficiently. But when it comes to the liver, what are some of the specific benefits with the liver, and why in the world does this factor in as important when it comes to metabolism? Well, how many of you heard about weight plateaus? You're getting in there, you're getting these results, you're all fired up, and then all of a sudden you hit this wall and the weight loss, inch loss stalls out and you stop getting results. Well, understanding the reasoning that this is happening can make a big difference and help prevent the frustration and help you understand how to support this inevitable issue that will surface when you're truly coming in and balancing out your health like you should be. So the liver can get overwhelmed because it is a very highly worked organ. In fact, it's often referred to as the most overworked organ in the body. So not only is it dealing with our toxins and our exposure to stresses, it's also dealing with the digestion. It's also dealing with the hormones. It's dealing with your stresses. And weight loss and weight balancing, even though it is a good thing to have happen, it is still work on the body and it's still stressful to the system. And remember, the body can't tell the difference, but the liver's still in there and it's doing its work and it's being challenged with working that. And it can get overwhelmed. It can get overloaded. By supporting your weight balancing journey, by adding in enzymes like the vertizymes, you lessen the workload of the liver. You, again, are giving it that extra oomph and support so it can break down the fats as they are leaving the system. And it's less apt to get backlogged and get overwhelmed. Whenever people would end up with an issue with weight plateauing, one of the things I always did was come in and support the liver via enzymes. And there's multiple ways to do that. Whether you're taking enzymes only with your meals, but on an empty stomach, in between meals, all of that can help support the liver. But if you're doing it from the beginning, you're more apt to have continued results and not end up with that liver getting backed up and overwhelmed. Now, the body, again, makes no mistakes. We may want to believe that it does, and I've seen many people get very angry at their body, but the body makes no mistakes. When we are exposed to different toxins, both coming in the body and whether or not it is something that we've just been exposed to outwardly or inwardly, the body will protect us from it. It may not always do it in ways that we like, but one of the things it will do is it will take those toxins and sequester them or isolate them and put them into our fat cells. Those fat cells, it's taking and setting them aside and saying, hey, we know that you're dangerous or you need more attention. We need to break you down, but we're going to set you over here until we get the opportunity to address you in a safe method. But in the meantime, we got to protect the body from you so you don't cause any harm or less harm. So again, some of these places where we've got these fatty deposits also is where the body has actually been storing these toxins to protect us from it. Now, remember, the body saw these as dangerous or a detriment to our health, maybe is a better way to put it. And so when it's time to break them down, and we're going on this weight balancing journey, we're breaking down some of these fats cells, we're opening them up, we're bringing out the toxins. Well, the toxin's still there. It still needs to be moved out. Enzymes are very, very beneficial at helping to break those down so that they don't go and cause an issue in another place. And again, so they don't clog up the liver and overwhelm it as well. So enzymes become extremely beneficial when addressing toxins in this manner. Again, making it beneficial again to utilize things like the enzymes to support your weight balancing journey. Now, there's lots of benefits to enzymes on an empty stomach, two of which I've just addressed specifically when it comes to your weight balancing journey. So let's look at these a little more detail. When you're taking enzymes on an empty stomach, then the body's being able to go in and do cleanup. It's working on foods that maybe weren't completely digested, whether it's proteins, fats, or carbohydrates. It's helping to support that immune system. And so that virus protein shell that can be there. It's working on crystal type deposits, any type of inflammation. It can address that. Now, a body that's out of balance weight-wise often has lots of inflammation, different types of congestion, lots of pain. So this is another reason that using those enzymes on that empty stomach, which we find is many of us use either the Bella Health program or the primary balance protocol, those talk and teach about using enzymes on an empty stomach and also with meals. And this is some of the reasons. So you can see where this becomes very beneficial with balancing out your weight. Reducing bacteria also. Now remember, think again of as these things are broken down in the body, things are being released in the system. The more enzymes that we can add in and add as a catalyst to help fire this up and stoke that fire and send all this to the furnace and burn it up, the easier it's going to be on your system. You will have a more healthy white blood cell size and activity. We talked about removing toxins, yeast that get released as well. You're going to have, again, less, it will help address uric acid crystals. Injuries recover much faster when you're using enzymes on an empty stomach. So why wouldn't the body benefit across the board with helping bring its weight balancing journey into alignment by having those enzymes on an empty stomach? And then finally, energy that comes from having better surface value or area of your red blood cells. So here's an example of what healthy blood cells should look like. Notice the nice, beautiful circles. It's free flowing, but it's actually extremely common to see the blood cells look like this. This is called reloading. It's where the red blood cells stack on top of each other like pancakes. Notice there's a whole lot less surface area to carry oxygen. Can lead to exhaustion. And not only that, not even having the energy to start with. So if we're using enzymes on an empty stomach to address all these other issues, and it also comes in and helps clean up the blood and help to keep these cells from being stacked on top of each other so that we can carry more oxygen, we're going to feel better. There's more pieces of the puzzle put into alignment. We can think better. We have more oxygen to burn our fire with and move forward in our weight balancing journey. So enzymes are just one of the pieces that are involved with helping balance out your weight. We've identified 10 different metabolic levers that we feel is all part of the getting a full picture and getting a better long-term result with addressing our health with the SoleFit GP. Think of it like a set of gears in a clock. All of these little pieces have little fine elements. They're all turning in their own way and their own precision, their own speed, their own shape and size. You pull out or muck up one of those areas and it doesn't run efficiently anymore. Now, it still may run. It just may be slower. It may not be as accurate with the time, but it's not as ideal as when you have all the pieces in place running as well as possible as a well-oiled machine. So as always, Solle takes great pride in addressing the roots of an issue, not just the symptom or the one concern, like people are wanting to help bring their weight into balance. Weight being out of balance is an indicator of health being out of balance at a deeper level. SoleFit GP is designed to help address the roots of the issue. And by bringing into play enzymes with your Vertizymes as well, you're helping to address those roots to get those long-term results and help bring your weight into balance for the long run.